How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking and welcome. It's
Thank
great to see you live here. Where are you based?
you. In Ohio, near
Oh,
Cleveland.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I have family in Hudson, so
Okay.
I know the area decently well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Well, welcome and thank you so much for hopping on and for becoming one of the most new recent Awakenpedia partners. I know you've been working with Maddie and talking with her, and she's been helping you to get set up. And we're very excited to have you be a part of the Awakenpedia family. So welcome and thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. I'm very excited as well.
Yeah. So
Feels
today Jamie, this is really just, and for everyone tuning in, Jamie is our newest Awakenpedia partner focusing on breath work for us, and she's going to be providing a variety of breathwork services to the community as well as within her own client base. And today is just an opportunity for us to get to know each other better, but more so a way to introduce you and to talk about your story and your path with breath work and what you'll be offering to the community. So excited to dive in and just learn more about you. Um, so with that, Jamie, maybe we can just begin by uh, hearing your story of whatever you'd like to share
okay.
um, in terms of, you know, how you got to where you are now and
Okay.
how it's led you to breath work and just a bit of context of your awakening journey so far.
Perfect. Let me real quick shut this window because
Okay.
someone just started a vehicle out there. Okay. Perfect. So, okay. Let me go inward real quick, and it's easier for me to speak from the body instead of the
Yeah.
mind.
And let's just, slow it down
Yeah.
as we would do in a breathwork session,
That's
right? Just come into stillness and let our intuitive selves speak.
so I um let's think back to back in 2018. I was full-time in dental hygiene, and I've been a dental hygienist for about 8 years. And at the time, it was a very transformational time for me because I started feeling different questionings just in my system with the medical field, with dental, um, being kind of put into a box where I had to, felt like recommendations may not, like it's not a cookie cutter. And it
Mm.
felt like it was very cookie cutter where if someone didn't want this and not feeling like you had to sell someone something just because there was like someone on your back for production or whatever it was, money driven. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it started for me, where I was looking into more holistic options for dental, for medical. And that kind of took me down quite a path of just realizing, honestly, my awakening journey. Um, and I was working in a holistic office. So I was like,
Mm.
wow, why are I feel so driven by different things that might not feel right for one person, but it's fine for the other. So that's where I started noticing, like, well, maybe there are other options. Um, and it should be more customized for the person.
Mm.
So at that point, I felt like my anxiety just kept growing, and it felt like such a big part of me as I realized maybe things weren't the way they seemed in such a educational setting, very structured way. And then it got to 2020 and when the world shut down, I was off work out of dental for 7 weeks. And I just felt like so free. So
Yeah.
The anxiety wasn't there. I was like, oh, it's not me. There's like these things from the outside world that I'm letting penetrate my system and kind of be in the driver's seat. So I had been recommended a podcast on breathwork. I never knew the word or the term. I knew breathing was important, but I didn't realize until I dropped in and did some guided videos that, oh, maybe I'm not using my diaphragm. Maybe I'm holding my breath a lot. And it started getting the wheels turning, just seeing where my breath went during the day.
Yeah.
And one thing led to another. And I was like, oh, I really like this breathwork stuff, whatever it is. It feels good. It feels like I can quiet my mind. And now my true feelings and thoughts can step forward instead of what was like coming from the outside. And in 2020, I mean, one thing led to another, and I was signing up to take some schooling, became a facilitator, and that's where my journey started with breathwork. I did it for myself, and I realized, oh, more people might need this too.
Yeah.
If I feel, maybe I can share a different modality that opens up an easier way to healing, an easier way to shut the mind down. And so when I finished my program, I started my business. I was like, I'm going to work one-on-one with people. I love group settings. So that's what I do here in Ohio. I opened a little studio a couple miles from my house, and that's where I have my one-on-one. I do virtual as well. And a lot of my stuff is in the community. So I love integrating it with activities. Like I'm making like a sensory bracelet where you have different textures to feel and different things to maybe physically have something to touch while you're dropping into your breath. We do a lot of art where after we breathe, we paint the colors or visuals that we saw. So I love doing like whatever drops in during my sessions that I'm like, oh, this might be fun, where maybe I'll work sometimes with kids and families and we do like a family session. So it's been really fun because it can be anything we want it to be. And
Yeah.
the big takeaway is then taking that breath and that pattern, whatever it is, and integrating it into your day to be more mindful and maybe get you into a meditative state easier or help with that feeling of anxiety, the depression, the whatever it is, so we don't identify with it, but we have like these pores in our system and our energy field that the light and dark can just flow through and we're not holding on to it. So that's how the breath has been the transporter for me.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
and for sharing it with the community. I always find it so important and powerful to hear someone's personal account of how they came into consciousness and how it's been whatever modality or vehicle they've chosen or has been called to them as to facilitate the awakening journey. And I think breathwork in particular is such a fascinating one and important one because of the breath's divine nature. It serves as the portal that connects us to our higher selves and our most essential nature. Spiritus in Latin, Sanskrit, is actually a word that means the breath. So embedded in old language is the wisdom that the breath is synonymous with the spirit. And when you really begin to connect with the breath, you intuitively sense its divine nature and you can feel the breath and the life force of it within you as that indwelling innate divine intelligence that empowers all life forms. And the breath is something that happens all day, every day, whether you're aware of it or not. And the way I see breath work and why it's so powerful as a way to help us deal with anxiety or depression or any other type of disturbance is that by connecting and bringing awareness to the breath, you're essentially bringing awareness to who you truly are. And when you lean into that and further develop that relationship, you become much more stable, much more healthy, much more grounded, because the breath is always in the here and now.
Yes.
And it's never rooted in the mind or therefore in time. It's beyond time. And it's tied to the hip of the eternal now. And when we connect to that breath, we connect to God, we connect to who we are. And that's why I think breath work is such a foundational element of anyone's spiritual hygiene, because it is the crux that allows us to most quickly and powerfully realize that essential nature. So with that said, Jamie, I'd love to know, within your specific practice and your training, is there a certain type of breath work that you like to focus on? I know there's holotropic breath work, transformational breath work as a couple examples, but where do you focus in your, practice and teaching?
So mine was rooted from the holotropic breath work. And so certain breath patterns that I've learned from that core course and mentors that I learned from. What was cool about my specific learning so far were they're rooted in the somatic, so the healing from within, and being able to drop into the body, being grounded before we even start, being able to be very trauma informed is important too. So being just aware of what could come up when we're tapping into the breath, because it's like that portal where once we drop in and we give it about 5 to 8 minutes to quiet the mind, that's how we're moving stuck energy, blockages, trauma that we're holding anywhere throughout the system. And being, when you're guided, having someone that can hold that space. So I'm very trauma informed. It's so important to be able to, we don't want to trigger anything, but just having that flowing nature and that loving awareness to be able to, okay, we're out here holding the space, observing it, not identifying with those emotions that want to come through,
right,
and flow through. So that's what's really cool about my specific mentors in the training so far, was having the support while I'm with a client to be able to recognize, especially one-on-one, okay, how can this be the most gentle transformation for that specific soul, that system, and like be the carrier to help hold the space, because we're all, it's our own self-healing.
Yeah.
But,
right.
But being able to have that person, so that's how I'm able to kind of guide and, okay, maybe this breath isn't right for the right now. Let's change it into this. So my group sessions are more starting out here, and let's pick a natural calming breath to get deep into like a meditative state. And where my ones were able to, without, sometimes we don't even have to bring up what the past is, but the body knows, and just being able to transport it out through the breath.
Right. Yeah. It's you've raised a good point, and I think it's it's the fundamental essence of not only breathwork as a spiritual practice, but any spiritual practice and any spiritual teacher. Not to identify with that label, but just to give it a name, which is to say we're all frequency holders, and that's what we're doing here. The essence of what we're doing here is to hold the space to be the teaching ourselves, which in this context is to be the breath. right? So that you can hold the space for others to feel vulnerable, safe to be vulnerable, to come in, to step into courage and authenticity, to experience, to face that which is coming up, because otherwise it may just be repressed against, you know, and through your guidance, you're able to help show others it's okay. Like, this is a safe space and this is healthy and this is how we can work through it, using the breath as the vehicle to help shift that egoic trapped energy that's currently rooted and stuck, right? Through trauma, through conditionings, through deeply toxically rooted beliefs. So what you're describing intuitively is so powerful. And for those who are listening, this is kind of like the inner workings of spiritual healing and in the context of breath work. And so it's good, you know, I wanted to ask you that next, Jamie, is just talking more about your specific practice and your offerings, services you provide. You mentioned you do one-on-ones and group sessions. Is that where, you know, in terms of your practice, is that what you offer today in terms of your services? And, you know, one would like to tie it into how you plan and would like to offer this to the Awakenpedia community specifically as well.
Yes. So that's where Maddie and I were talking, and we would love to make this a regular offering to have. We were thinking of like a certain night, a couple times a month to start, where we're able to have that set time, like a scheduled, we're thinking Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
Find a time that works, where it's like a scheduled, it's your soul massage. It's your time to have an hour where we connect and drop in. I can guide breath work for about 50 of the 60 minutes. And that can be intimidating because it's like, whoa, I'm breathing for 50 minutes. And once we drop in and teach the breathing, it just goes. It feels like 20 minutes. It's crazy. So I would love to have where we do a couple times a month that hour meditative breath. So we have that journey where it's a free offering, donation based in the sense of whatever you wish to contribute is great. I'm grateful. I just want to be able to have that support where it feels so good to be guided and to be in, it's such, even on the screen, such an energetic experience having the breath work in a group setting. So I would love to have as many participants each time that we have it live, because it's just powerful. At that point, I would love, I mean, I'm here for those who want to maybe get more specific with a customized session with that virtually, where we have one-on-one time to be able to have specific breaths that might be able to target certain areas or just part of the transition, you know, through your journey. So that's here where I would love to offer, if anyone's interested, can reach out separately for the one.
Yeah, of course. And Jamie's profile is in our member forum, and all like links to her offerings and to her booking sites will be there, which you can find. And I think that's beautiful. And I want to say thank you, of course, for, you know, your generous offering to help lead our community through breathwork sessions a couple times a month on a donation basis. That's, you know, incredibly kind, especially for someone like yourself who has, you know, significant experience and has certifications and has gone through your training in this space to really add genuine value to help people help themselves. So it's just very kind, and thank you for that. And I know that it will be an incredible, valuable addition to the Awakenpedia community and the platform, and just the offering of being this comprehensive solution, awakening solution, right, as we head into the new age. But so just to clarify and reiterate, um, the workshops that you'll be leading, if you want to
Yeah.
call them that, the sessions a couple times a month are going to be kind of more foundational, if I'm hearing you right, and
Yes.
a bit more, just perhaps generalized as a way to introduce people into breath work, to kind of help showcase and teach them like what it is,
Yeah.
and like to gently introduce them into the breathwork space, and then are able to through that come to you to work on a more specialized basis, to work through specific traumas, to kind of have a more customized plan, healing journey together that you would work on a one-on-one basis with them.
Yeah, because what's great about our group that we'll be able to have a couple times a month, we want to start with, because it'll kind of build, I can imagine, as we get into our space. Like, we want to first make sure, where is our breath, and find, just using the right muscles. It's muscle memory, the body knows, but being able to take us as a collective through it. So me finding where our energy's at, being more expansive out here. And if things come up during a session where, obviously in a group session we might not be able to share or feel comfortable sharing, you can come to me one-on-one and be like, okay, now maybe this breath I'd like more guidance on. Maybe we can do this, be more customized in that way, and talk more on, even if we meet one-on-one, how regular, if it's a one-time thing, or if we make it more of like a program where it's like, okay, I'd like to work through this, what's coming up in the system. And different breaths, different times can bring up different things. So being able to know that I'm here for support, even on Discord, where even if we're not doing a one-on-one session, you can be like, wow, that brought this up in me. What was that feeling? I'm here for that too. So I want everyone to know that if you don't feel comfortable in a group setting sharing, you can come to me and just kind of bounce things off for that support as well.
Yeah, wonderful. And that's thank you for saying that, because that is the aim of the Awakenpedia community, which is to bring all of us together, practitioners and seekers alike. All of us are ultimately on the same team, same side, heading home, and to be able to have a really supportive community that is one that's rooted in helping each other navigate this strange journey, and using the tools and insights we have come into, downloaded, accessed, whatever, however you've come into this higher intuition, to share that with those who are perhaps a bit earlier on the journey, that have yet to walk the path that you have just crossed, perhaps. And that is invaluable, especially on a journey that can otherwise be quite solitary.
Yeah.
And so to have that type of support, to lend that support, is truly a priceless thing, and just so valuable. So thank you for that offering too. Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have anything else you would like to comment or share here, Jamie, but from my end, I think that's a good summary of, for now,
Okay.
of what we're doing, where things are at, and really just excited to walk this path with you, and to grow this relationship together over the time to come, from the unknown through the now, and to see how it all unfolds. I love your energy. Your spirit is powerful and true. You lead from direct experience, and that's how you teach and you facilitate, which I sense is the most pure way to do so. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how this develops and how it grows. Awakenpedia and the Awakenpedia family is still a very early initiative in terms of publicly facing, and you know, only been going for the past several months, but I sense, you know, this is something that we all intend to position as a very meaningful platform of spirituality in the new age, and one that is about union and bringing people together in a universal way, beyond religion, beyond division, and a true sense of bondship rooted in consciousness and the awakening journey. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I just wanted to say one thing. I was so drawn when Maddie had reached out to me. Once I started looking at listening, your teachings, everything that you've channeled and are bringing to this community is just amazing. And it's when you know, it's like that intuition feeling that drops in, and just talking to Maddie and just meeting you personally for the first time has been amazing.
Yeah.
Because teachings and everything you're putting out here for everybody is so aligned and just so similar to different mentors I've experienced through my breathwork journey so far, that maybe in the beginning it was like, oh, this is a different way of teaching. Like, we might be used to this structured book in school and this and that it's like, you know, this equals this, and it has a structured feel. And I love, sometimes it takes time and hearing things different ways to drop in and land. So when I go on the app and I'm listening, I'm like, oh, it feels like I'm just coming home to these teachings. They're so beautiful. And my soul has been prepped at different times through my breathwork teachings with different teachers that teach in a similar channeled way. So I just love, it's so refreshing to have all your knowledge at my fingertips, and I'm very excited to see and experience where everything goes. I'm so excited for everybody. So thank you for having me and finding me, because I feel very at home here already.
Wow, that was beautiful and received, and thank you. Thank you for seeing me and for seeing this platform and its mission for what it is and its pure intent. This is a platform and an initiative to help people help themselves by transmuting suffering into peace, so that we can operate out of a place of love instead of fear. We can, you know, move beyond our egoic minds into our hearts and live from there, so that we can cooperate instead of compete, so that we can create instead of trying to just survive. We can leave that chaotic, dysfunctional survival state and enter into a state of incredible creation, which is the next era that we're entering as a species, the era of awakened doing, in which we're doing from love. We're living from the seat of consciousness itself, as opposed to the seat of the ego. And so we're all watchers of this life as it unfolds. And that is the aim of Awakenpedia, which is to bring all of the watchers together, and knowing that there's not just one road, that as a one road fits all, that brings us home. There are many roads, and breathwork is one road that many people deeply resonate with. And to have it as an offering is integral, as so many people find breathwork as the primary vehicle to help them realize who they are. Right? The breath is just so divine and powerful. But then we have other offers like yoga and EFT and Reiki and Cranio, and you know, just the Awakenpedia teachings platform itself, which is more of an intellectual style of a teachings platform, which was my road. I was the road of, I used my mind to ultimately transcend my mind, and other people like use their body from the inside out to realize who they are. And so the point is that when this is hopefully all said and done, meaning that when we're moving into what my vision is here, we'll have such a large, comprehensive platform that covers the entire spectrum of healing modalities that it really can be a true home for someone on the awakening journey. Because at different parts of the journey, different modalities will serve them, right?
Yes.
And we want to be able to cover all the roads that people could take. And having you as a part of this family to facilitate and lead this road is such a blessing. And again, just looking forward to seeing how it all goes. And thank you for everything you said.
Thank you.
So guys, we're going to wrap up here, but Jamie, her profile, her offerings, booking links, everything else you can find on in our member form, and her profile also is highlighted on our Instagram, so you can check it out there too. So.
Perfect. Yay.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. Hope you have a nice rest of your day.
Yes. Have
Talk soon.
a good day.
All right. Bye-bye.